Hello and welcome to week 7 of my Tarot for Beginners course. If you've stuck with me right through to week 7, congratulations. This is my free course for people beginning to learn the tarot. If you'd like to join us and be part of my community, just go to connectwithyourdeck.com/beginners and all of the information that you need is there. It's free to join and you get lots of extra freebies and goodies if you become part of my community. So today is week 7 and we are talking about tarot and astrology, which I'm so excited about. This is a topic that I researched for the course. We're going to do an overview, a brief overview as part of the Tarot for Beginners course. And it's inspired me that I'm actually going to do an in-depth course both on astrology and the tarot. And I think I'm going to go down that pathway of maybe teaching you a little bit about natal chart prediction. But I think we're going to go down that pathway of sun sign prediction because you don't need somebody's birth time. You can do a whole chart. You can do a whole predictive energy reading for them based just on their sun sign and using the decans on the astrological wheel, which is really exciting and I can't wait to teach it. So that will be it'll be another free course and it will have a workbook in exactly the same way as all my other courses do. So if you're new here and you've never found me before, welcome. Please subscribe to my channel. It certainly does help and it's free, of course. Have a look around because depending on when you've joined me, will depend on just how many courses are available on my channel. They all sit in playlists, so go to the playlist section and you'll see them all. And there's heaps of materials to work through to help you learn the tarot. So we're going to be talking about tarot and astrology. This is the workbook that I have available for purchase. This is the chart. And have I got it the right way up? Yes, I have. So the chart shows you how all the tarot cards fit on the astrological wheel. And the beauty of that is you start to think about just the symbiotic nature of the tarot, how all the cards work together. And of course, each card has a commentary on its astrological sign or its planet, which is fascinating and for me has certainly helped me have a deeper understanding of astrology and also a deeper understanding of the tarot. So it's just beautiful to study, absolutely beautiful. I mean, I've had tarot teachers make that comment of what do you need to know about it for? Does it help you reading? And I think it does because I think the more you know the cards, the more you can relax when you put them out into a spread and want to focus on the overall meaning of the cards. You're not there thinking, now hang on a minute, what am I connecting? Well, you know, you can just see. You can see the messages. And to me, I know when I've been reading, particularly if I'm sitting in front of someone that's sitting there with the skeptic look on their face, it just gives you that little bit of, I know my stuff, I know what I'm doing, and you can just read based on the symbolism that you can see in the cards. It just gives you another tool to help you connect into the energy. So today we're going to be talking about how the cards fit into astrology. You're going to see, I'm going to talk about my wheel, which is also available in my shop in my astrology. I've got astrology cheat sheets as well, or it's of course in the book, you can see here. And I'm going to be going through a little bit of the symbolism and talking to you about the astrological attribution of the tarot cards and what they mean. If you want more deeper detail on each one of the cards, go to my tarot symbolism playlist. In fact, anyone that's on my newsletter list starts off with these videos at the moment, or reminder emails for these videos at the moment. That may change, of course, but at the moment, that's what you receive each week to remind you to go in and watch a video about the cards. Because if life gets busy, you just forget to do it. I know I do. And part of learning the tarot is that constant exposure, a little bit at a time, and all of a sudden it all comes together. So I'm going to spin the camera around and talk to you about tarot and astrology and what it all means. So let's do it. Let's have a chat about tarot and astrology. My most favorite topic of all of the symbolism that I have studied to do with the tarot. And I have done a whole series on the symbolism of the tarot. Every single card has its own video. It's been a joy to make. At this point in time, they are still going up onto YouTube. And I do hope that you'll go over and watch that series, because I do go into a lot of detail about the attributions for each card. So I'm going to give you an overview of the astrological attributions for the tarot. This is my workbook for those of you who've just joined us. I've also got a printed version here, which looks like this. And it's a book in your hands that you can order from Amazon. And I also have, of course, on Etsy, you can also order downloadable pages. Now, I will make sure the link to all of those are down in the description box, as well as a link to join us on join my community, because it's free and you get lots of extra goodies to help you learn the tarot. Connectwithyourdeck.com/beginners is the best place to go. It will put you both onto this course and onto my newsletter list. And the newsletter list has the symbolism videos coming through in an email format, and all of my goodies and my free library where you get lots of goodies to download and all that sort of thing. So, astrology. My favorite topic of all of the topics to do with the tarot. So, I've got a little bit of background here that I've written about, and then there is the wheel and the chart. Now, the wheel, you can expand it like this to see bits and pieces. I'm going to show it to you in the workbook, I think, because it's just easier to show it to you. But essentially, Eliphas Levi. Now, we've talked a lot, if you've been following the series through, Eliphas Levi is the person who really expanded the connection between tarot and astrology. Ettiella did do some astrological associations, but it really was Eliphas Levi who took it and ran with it. And he really influenced the Golden Dawn. Now, the astrology was further refined by the Golden Dawn because there still are varying opinions about the astrological association. So I'll just show you what the book T is. So the book T is available online, but I'm going to actually put it into my free library. So it's a free manuscript. And here it is here. And you can see here it's a Golden Dawn manuscript, and it literally goes through and explains all of the astrology according to the Golden Dawn. Now, I always use Golden Dawn astrological attributions because that's where it all started, that all of these scholars came together and they made sense of the tarot. There are some changes that Aleister Crowley made. There are changes that Arthur Waite made. There are changes that Paul Foster Case made, and I'll explain that to you, among many others. There's lots of debate about the astrological attributions, but I tend to stick with the Golden Dawn. We learn the Golden Dawn, and then when you go out into the world and you understand the tarot from that moment in time, it then enables you to make more sense of the meanings of the cards. Now, I'll tell you something really funny. I spent hours building, I'll show you, my chart, which I'll show you now, and I'll explain it to you. Where's my good notes? Here we are. Both this chart and this chart. And somebody who will remain nameless decided that they could just scan all that in and pass it off as their own and sell it and thought I'd be perfectly okay with that, which I wasn't. And I'm going to do a whole video on what happened when I was copied. However, the reason I tell you this is there's tarot teachers and there's tarot teachers. And what happened with this particular person was when I had a complete meltdown at them and threatened that I was going to take them to court and all of that stuff and all the other things that I'll tell you in that video when I finally do it about being copied, what this person thought they'd do is just pull it all out of the air. So they, in terms of the colours, those colours are traditional colours. Cups are always blue. Wands are always red. Pentacles are always green and swords are always yellow. They're the traditional colours, and in the next video I'll explain why that is so. This person then just thought, well, I won't copy. I'll just change the colours. And not only that, I'll decide what the astrological attribution should be. Well, can you imagine if somebody just decides that they will say that the Emperor is Capricorn rather than Aries? How confusing that's going to be for people, especially if they don't explain it. And if they're using Rider-Waite-Smith, the images have been created to follow the astrology. And if you go to my symbolism playlist and start watching me talk about the symbolism, you'll understand why it's really important that when you're talking about a particular deck, for example, the Rider-Waite-Smith, that you stick with what the author originally intended so that it makes sense. And I know for myself, I would go out reading other people's stuff and there would be all of this just stuff that they said about the tarot. And I'd be like, I was so confused. And this is one of the reasons why I have put together this whole series of videos to help you understand what it is that you're doing. And the reason this whole thing became plagiarism is because this chart's mine and this chart's mine. I made it based on, yes, information that's out there on the web that everybody has, but the way I've put it together is mine. And so it's really important that you recognize that. And also it's really important that you recognize that there's tarot teachers and there's tarot teachers. And if a tarot teacher is not prepared to put themselves out on the web and just puts an ebook past you on Facebook in a sponsored ad and invites you to click on it, and when you get to their webpage, there's no photo of them, there's no way of contacting them, you don't know who they are, please don't spend your money with them. Okay, rant over. All right. So, Aleister Crowley has had different thoughts about the tarot and the attributions, and he's moved the cards, and I've talked about that in here in more detail. So did Arthur Waite has his thoughts, so did Paul Foster Case and many other esoteric writers. We're using McGregor Mathers and Harriet Falcon Smith's outline, except for one thing. Now, Paul Foster Case, what he did, because he wanted to be able to place the cards on the astrological wheel, he made the Fool, whose Golden Dawn attribution is air, he gave that Uranus, which has an attribution of air. The Hanged Man has a Golden Dawn attribution of water. He gave this card an attribution of Neptune, which has an allocation of water. And Judgment, he gave, which normally in the Golden Dawn, when you look in the book T, has an attribution of fire. He gave this card an attribution of Pluto, so that they can fit on the wheel exactly like that. And you can lay them down and see how all the cards fit together. Now, what was I going to say? All good tarot teachers follow that. So they follow the Golden Dawn except for those three cards. And do you know how hard it was for me to find out where that came from? I thought, why isn't that in the Golden Dawn book, but nobody, all the teachers are talking about it like this? And that's because of the gorgeous Paul Foster Case, who we are going to do some deeper work with. So if you look at the wheel, you can see in here, for example, straight under, hang on, I'll turn it this way so you can see it properly, just make sure we're still in shot. The very first house here is, or the very first sign here is Aries. And if we open that up a bit bigger, you can see that we've got Mars, and we've got the Tower, and we've got the Emperor, Aries, and we've got the 3 cards. We've got 2, 3, and 4 because we're moving widdershins around the astrological wheel. And we are Queen of Wands is dragging across from Pisces, the astrological sign, and dragging it across. And then we've got Knight of Pentacles dragging across even further as we move widdershins around the astrological wheel. If we look at the chart here, you can see, if we look, you can see the Emperor. Where is he? Aries. You can see the Tower, which is Mars. You can see the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. And then you can see the layer of the cards coming through here. Now, why are there 3 minor arcana cards sitting in Aries, sitting in Taurus, sitting in Gemini as we move our way around the wheel? Because each one of these is a decan. Now, what is a decan? A decan is a 10-degree segment of the astrological wheel. If we go back to the chart, you can see here, I've got 10 degrees, second decan at 20 degrees, third decan at 30 degrees for Aries as we travel through. Aries is fire. Wands cards, fire. Planetary sub-ruler here of these cards, but the Queen of Wands, Aries, Emperor, Aries. See how we're moving our way through? Planetary sub-ruler for these cards. And here are the dates. Now, why are they divided into 10-degree segments? Because the astrologers wanted to be able to talk about an astrological sign in terms of nuances or little changes in personality. And so if, depending on where you're born in the month of Aries, along these dates, gives little changes in personality based on planetary movement. Now, what got me really excited was this idea that you can do natal charts based on somebody's birth date and their birth time, but you can also do astrological prediction and a chart for someone just based on their birth date using their sun sign, which then means that a lot of people don't know their birth time. You can actually give them some prediction. So I'm looking at my next course, which I'm so excited about, is going to be using this as a basis and looking at learning about astrology at a deeper level so that you can understand all the planets, all of their signs. We'll do a little bit of work on natal charts, but I really want to teach you sun sign prediction. Like you see in the newspaper, where there's sort of the little paragraph about each sign. I want to teach you how to do that in more detail so that you can actually do some astrological prediction, which I'm really excited about. So this is what the journal has in it. It also has the planets, and it's got the timing and the meaning, etc. And then I've got some very basic attributions here for you again based on the Golden Dawn, and then just a reflection activity at the end. So that is the astrology for you, and you've got a little bit of background here to help you orientate yourself into the astrology. So that is tarot and astrology. I hope that's helpful to you, and I hope it explains to you why you need to be careful about who you're reading, where you're reading, and why it's so important to go back to those Golden Dawn attributions, because it gives you a yardstick and it stops you from being totally and utterly confused about where the changes come from if you decide you want to study somebody differently, if you decide you want to go and learn about the Thoth Tarot, and you want to understand how Aleister Crowley's viewed the deck. It's not going to make much sense if you learn astrological attributions that come out of the air. So please be aware there's tarot teachers and tarot teachers. I know I went on a bit of a rant, but it's very close to my heart, that sort of thing. Mainly because as I was learning the tarot, I was mega confused, let me tell you. So that is tarot and astrology. Lots of detail in my workbook. I've made the workbook really affordable. The link for it will be down in the description box. And if you purchase the workbook, it does help support my channel. But of course, you don't have to. The course is constructed so that you can study with me and get to know the tarot and work at your own pace and be part of my community in any way that works for you. So take care, everybody. Our next topic is going to be the tarot elements, which is going to make sense now that we've looked at the astrology. So take care, everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.